Hello guys and welcome to another video. So as you can see, I'm in a bit of a different setup today and I am not alone. I am joined by the lovely Fran from A Dose of Fran. And today we're going to talk about something that she actually came up with, and that is Caleo, everyone's favorite ship. But before we get into that, Fran, please tell us a bit about yourself.
The irony that my middle name almost was Anne after my nan, because her middle name is Anne. Yes. Hi everyone, I am Fran from the channel A Healthy Dose of Fran and A Dose of Fran on literally basically every social media any person could think of. I am an author, a Percy Jackson YouTuber, an occasional Avatar YouTuber, and a author tuber as well. So I have many hats, because I'm currently unemployed and I'm hoping to make a career out of many things. So we've collabed on a few things. So I had you come on my podcast. Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. So I was like, no, we need to do this again because that was a joy. And here we are, alongside also having done one on my channel as well, which is also very fun.
We just filmed it. Immediately forgot that happened. But yeah, if that came out before this one, I'll leave it linked up there and I'll have every single one of her socials linked down below in the description box. So you should definitely go follow her. She has a great channel and she has very interesting opinions on Percy Jackson and King Chronicles. So definitely go follow her.
Yeah, the interesting opinions is very much an understatement.
In order to prepare for this video, I did actually do my homework and I did some community tabs in order to see what the fandom, or at least the part of the fandom that follows my YouTube channel, thinks about Caleo. I don't know why, but I thought a lot of people shared my opinion. Apparently they don't, which I should have known based on the video that I mentioned earlier. So, let's see what we got. The first one I did, I wanted to know if people thought it was toxic or not toxic. And out of all the votes we got a third of the people saying that it was toxic, 2/3 said that it was not toxic, which I found really interesting. So then I did another poll because I wanted to specify, because you know, people can still like a ship that they think is toxic. So I asked the fandom, do you like Caleo, regardless of whether it's toxic or not? 11% said they loved them, that it was their OTP. 71% said that it was just okay, so they liked it, but you know, they wouldn't go to war defending the ship. 14% said they didn't like them, and then 5% said they hated them. So clearly a big majority of the fandom enjoys, at least to some extent, the Caleo ship, while 11% of the fandom says it's their OTP. So what do you think about this? Is this what you were expecting from the fandom?
Both yes and no. And I don't know if it's the cynical part of me where I'm just like, it doesn't surprise me that... And the only reason why it doesn't surprise me is because Leo is a fan favourite. And I think that's probably the only reason why it is a popular ship. Because it's a ship with Leo in. I think... if it was Calypso with any other person, maybe, I don't think it would be that popular. It's solely popular because of Leo. Because most people who I see talk about the Caleo ship center on Leo in like headcanons and stuff like that. Leo is the center of that relationship and Calypso is somewhat of an afterthought. Which in my opinion is what shows that toxic side of that relationship, because that is all Calypso really is in their relationship, an afterthought. But what then following from that doesn't surprise me is that the reason why I think maybe it's a bit higher is maybe because most people haven't read all of Trials of Apollo, because that is where the height of the toxicity, in my opinion, comes in.
Yeah, I would agree. It feels like most of the shippers love Leo, which it makes sense. I was one of those people before, and they just want to see him with someone. So Calypso's kind of like an accessory in that relationship. It's Leo. Maybe people use her as like a self-insert, because if Leo was single, they wouldn't be able to do that. But since Caleo's in the picture and we don't know much about her or her personality, anyone can be like, oh, Caleo is like me, and that's why they want them to be together. What do you think about that?
I can kind of see that, and just from and not to like, I'm not picking on you, I swear I'm not, but the fact that you called her Caleo instead of Calypso.
Oh my god.
Is what, but
that
everyone
happens to
does
me
it
so much with Percy and Annabeth. I call them Percibev. I just group them together. I'm so sorry. I'm too used to using ship names.
No, it's perfectly good, because in the case of referring to them both as Percibeth, completely understandable, because that is a soul relationship. That's the name of the relationship. But so many people I know call Calypso as the single person Caleo. Her name is known as the ship, so she's not even seen as an individual. She is seen as the love interest for Leo. In my opinion, she is very much like what you said, the self-insert, because we don't actually get anything about her personality. We don't really know anything about her. Her sole focus and her sole reason for almost existing in the series is being a love interest for Leo, or being a love interest or the what if for Percy. Like, there's nothing that we know about her outside of her being a possibility for a man, which is different kind of conversation. Yeah, so I completely agree with her feeling like a self-insert, because she doesn't have enough of a personality for us to even know. Like, it's not like we could say like people who like Percy, they can't see themselves as a self-insert in Annabeth's position, because Annabeth has a character. You can't do that easily. But Calypso doesn't. She is just that self-insert. She is just that part of a relationship, which is kind of disappointing.
Let's get into why people, us included, thinks it's toxic or just not a good ship. There are many reasons. One of the best ones, in my opinion, is that Calypso, I'm making an effort not to call her Caleo, Calypso is thousands of years old. She was in the Titan War. The first Titan War, mind you, not the one in the Percy Jackson books. So if the roles were reversed, if Calypso was a guy and Leo was a girl, I think that people probably wouldn't ship them as much, because Calypso would be the creepy old eternal person who is hitting on this 15-year-old child. But what do you think? Because especially, if Calypso looked older than she did, because she just happens to look like a teenager in the Percy Jackson world when she probably looks like a woman in Greek mythology, if she looked older, people would obviously not ship them together.
Yeah. All I can think is, and it's the same case, like, would you ship the same thing if Leo, for example, ended up with Aphrodite? You wouldn't ship that. Yeah, the face there alone, like that. If you say that Calypso and Leo makes sense, then you're saying Aphrodite and Leo, Demeter and Leo. What other goddesses are there?
Percy and Artemis. A lot of people ship them. Even though Artemis is like in the body of a 12-year-old girl permanently.
Yeah.
And she's a maiden goddess.
She looks like an 8-year-old, apparently. It was like a big thing. She looks like a child, and again, a maiden goddess. It'd just be like, that means that any character you would comfortably ship with one of the Olympian gods, like, but you wouldn't, because that's a power imbalance of the highest level. Like, it's like when people were shipping Apollo and Raina. I'm like,
okay, I thought you were gonna say and Meg. Thank God.
Oh, and there was some of that as well, which was this fandom, seriously. But things like that, I'm just like, the power imbalance in general, because that is an immortal being, more powerful, like, could literally kill them because they have the power to do so. So that's a power imbalance just on that level. But the fact that they are then thousands upon thousands of years old, seeing humanity throughout all ages, you then, is that whole thing of just like, what's the thing? Sort of like, not education, like experience levels as well. Like, a 16-year-old experience is very different to a 26-year-old experience, and so on and so forth. Like, the only reason I can think people would justify being like, oh yeah, but she's immortal, but you know, she's in the mind of a 16-year-old, because they do the same thing for like Anubis and Sadie, and I'm like, well, firstly, Sadie's 12, and
so that's
even worse. She's a literal child. But it's like, oh, but their demigods are also older for their age because they've been through trauma. And I'm like, just picture you saying that about a real life person who is like a 13-year-old girl in a relationship with like a 17-year-old boy. Would you say the same thing? Because that is what you're basically approving of in the context of this story. Something like that, being like, oh well, that 13-year-old is older for her age because she's been through a lot. You wouldn't. You would. There are people who would, but you don't want to be those people. You don't want to be anywhere near those kind of people.
So, another one of the arguments that people use to find it toxic is that, well, not toxic necessarily, but to not like it, is that it was rushed. Now, I don't exactly remember how long Leo spends in Ogygia, but I feel like it was either 1 or 2 weeks. No longer than that. And then they kiss. Calypso literally says, do not swear on the river Styx. And then Leo's just like, how about I do it anyways? And then they spend like a month or so apart. He comes back. They're obviously already dating because it's Rick Riordan. And then 6-month jump, I feel like, to the Trials of Apollo books. And they are having some issues, obviously, because of how they started the relationship. But what do you think? Is it a rushed relationship? And does it affect the ship?
I wouldn't say it affects the ship necessarily, because there are lots of relationships that we've seen that are rushed, some of which are kind of good, some of which aren't. Like one example I can see of like what kind of comes across as a little bit rushed is, and it's not a main relationship admittedly, but the Selena and Beckendorf relationship, because it suddenly appears for us to, mainly it's literally meant just to be more of an emotional reason behind like Beckendorf's death. Like that's pretty much the only reason why it exists, is like, ah, he's got a girlfriend, ah, he's dead, you know, additional like ache and pain to it. And then seeing like Selena's reaction afterwards and all the stuff that falls out of it. That one was kind of rushed, but it was a good kind of rush because you get the emotional beats of that relationship, even if we don't see much of it, even though we get bits and pieces of it in like a short story here and there. While we get bits and pieces of that with Leo and Calypso, of like them building stuff together, more often than not it's them insulting each other. Which I know is like a big thing and people love like the whole enemies to lovers and stuff. But like, if you're bad-mouthing someone and then it's slowly kind of building towards, you know, that whole comment of like them opening a garage and plantery or something together and stuff like that. It's sweet and there is development, but it feels more friendship related than romantic related. Which is why, and it's something that kind of disappoints me, because what I would have loved more of that relationship would have been for it to be a friendship that is what leads to her escaping Ogygia. And it's the love of a friend that brings the raft in, and it's the love of a friend that brings him back to her to help her escape. Both of them finding solace in each other, like Leo feeling like he's the odd one out, feeling like he doesn't connect well with people. Calypso being frustrated and angry that she's been left behind again and again, and that resentment side of it, and then bonding over that would have been a great way to develop a friendship or a romantic relationship. But not doing any of that and then just suddenly having it happen, whilst also still having sort of some toxic elements of like, Calypso tells him, yeah, don't swear on the river Styx, I don't want you to do that, and then he, like you said, he kind of like, you know, sort of the, in my opinion, sort of dickhead moves that he does, where like he doesn't care what other people ask him not to do and does it anyway, even if it's going to hurt them, or if they really don't want him to do it. It just kind of shows that he doesn't respect Calypso enough. And I don't think there's mutual respect between either of them. Like, I do think that Calypso sees him a little bit of like her way to an escape, because that is what she desperately wants. And Leo looks to her as someone who he can gain something from for being in a relationship with, because that's all he wants. Like that's his main character arc, which is appalling in general.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Apparently, on YouTube, I am known as a Leo hater, because apparently wanting Leo to be single means you hate the guy, which is not the case at all. I I don't know if I am a Leo stan, but when the books were coming out and when I was reading them when I was 15, Leo was my favorite character. I loved him so much because he was funny, he was sarcastic, and he had self-esteem issues. So I could really relate to him in that way. But the fact that his arc is, I'm lonely, I'm going to get a girlfriend, and then Calypso just like fulfills that. And the fact that Calypso was technically cursed to fall in love with Leo because she's cursed to fall in love with every single man that falls into her island just takes autonomy from her. I wish, like you said, that Leo had fallen on that island, had maybe like had a crush on Calypso at the beginning, but then as they developed, he was like, maybe she's just a friend and that is okay. I don't have to have a significant other like every other single character does on the Argo too. And then Calypso was like, okay, you're my friend, and as a friend, it'd be nice if you came back for me, but first focus on you and focus on this war. Go help your friends. I feel like that would have been much better. And if Leo did actually go back after that to help her, after developing and after letting Calypso find out who she is as a person outside her island, then maybe after being friends for a while, I could have seen a relationship happen between them romantically. But Calypso, like I said, we don't see her personality, and I don't think she knows who she is as a person outside of being a maiden that waits for men to fall out of the sky onto her island. So if they had started off as a solid friendship, then I would have shipped them so much more, and we would have gotten rid of most of the toxic elements, because didn't she become immortal after she left the island? So the kind of like the age difference, she is going to die at least and grow old with him. It doesn't solve it exactly because she still like has eons of experience over him, but it's a bit better because she won't stay as a 16-year-old immortal for all of their relationship.
But the whole thing is, the thing that gets me, and this goes back to our double standard conversation, she's the one who's hated by fans for being the toxic one in the relationship, which yes, she has her moments of like being angry and spiteful, but again, she's been in isolation since the first Titan War during ancient Greece. She doesn't know how to be around people because she's never been around people, not for long periods of time. She's continuously shown to be second best and not have things go her way, not have things be her choice. And I really would have liked for Leo's character growth to be that he understands this and he respects this and knows how to make her feel better, but I don't even think he respects her. Like, he doesn't seem to show any respect towards her at all.
Especially in, what book are they at? Like, the book that they appear in during Trials of Apollo? Leo
Dark
is
Prophecy.
the one, yeah, that one, that feels like uncomfortable, that Calypso is kind of trying to find herself and doing things outside of their relationship. Which, very important for her to be doing that, but I don't think Leo took it very well.
The fact that like he calls her Mamacita and she tells him not to. And this is the thing, like he's shown this a lot, like when he calls Piper Beauty Queen, she's told him to stop multiple times, but he kept doing it to the point that she stopped saying it. So, and this is the one thing that I like and give respect to Rick seemingly recognizing this, because I think a lot of people talked about the sort of the sexist attitudes of Leo in the series, is that he's like, they've obviously separated by the end of the Trials of Apollo series, him and Calypso, because she wants to find out more about who she is, and as Raina put it, Leo needs to find out how to respect women.
Raina is the best. I think that pretty much wraps it up. Like, we've talked about every single reason. The age difference, the fact that at least Calypso was cursed into liking Leo, the fact that it does nothing for Leo's character arc in the Heroes of Olympus as a whole, and the fact that they don't know each other and Leo does not respect Calypso as a person, and just like as a means to an end to be in a relationship like all of his best friends.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get why people like them, because they're both cute, and when two people are cute, you're like, okay, they look good together, so let's make them a couple. But when you really get into it, and when you read Trials of Apollo, you understand that it's maybe not the best ship. It could have been a good friendship, but as a romantic ship, not so much. So make of that what you will. It's okay if you ship them. I'm not going to send you hate, so please don't send any of us hate because of our opinions. It's a ship. It's literally liking or disliking two fictional characters being together. So all in all, it's not that deep. But thanks so much, Fran, for being here with us. Thank you for inviting me to do a collab on your video, which I will link because you probably edited this sooner than I have. But yeah, go follow her. She is incredible. She makes really good video essays about Percy Jackson, Rick Riordan series, and a lot of Avatar, which is also incredible content. So go follow her there. Do you have like any other plugs?
Yeah, no, I've got a few. You can follow me on social media on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at A Dose of Fran. I actually have a novel publishing next year, alongside a bunch of short stories. So if you're into adventure, if you're into coming of age, if you're into queer stories as well, with two queer lead characters. I know you said actresses like it's a film. It's not a film, it's a story. And various different things. I'm also working on a YA mythology fantasy series, which I can't say too much about because it is with a publisher, but that will be coming eventually. Yeah, so if you're interested in anything like that, my website is francescamcmahon.com, and you can find out more information there, or just go to my social media and it'll be linked in my link tree, so you check it out there. But that's the main plug I have. Oh, and my podcast, The Best Damn Camp. Damn being, of course, the best joke in the world. So Best Damn Camp, and it's on all podcast platforms. I'm currently going through the Red Pyramid of the King Chronicles. I'm going through it all in timeline order. So it's interesting to figure out how everything works in the timeline, because apparently, currently, based on the timeline, the series ended in 2012.
So once again, thank you so much for doing this video with me. Guys, please leave a like if you like this video. Comment down below if you agree or disagree with our opinions on Caleo. Subscribe if you haven't already to me and to Fran, and click that bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. I post videos very frequently on this channel, and I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye!